or finish.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
All right, excellent. Jeez, sorry, it's quite hot in here today. It's hotter than I thought. So JD, let me just grab that. Okay, excellent. And just so you know, also I record this one.
Yep.
So I have a backup of the assessment session, but I don't
Okay.
record the training sessions. So I won't have a backup of the training session for you. So it's just going to be a backup of the assessment training. So everything that I'm going to talk about with you today, you're going to have on this record. So it's really good for you to go back and listen to it because pronunciation is quite specific. So
Yep.
how this lesson is going to work is I'm going to get you to do some natural speaking. I'll get you to do some reading aloud as well.
Yep.
I'll then give you some feedback about your speech and talk to you about the different things that you're doing with your English pronunciation as compared to a native English speaker and
Yep.
what we'll be working on in future sessions. Okay?
Beautiful.
It's really important that you have a really good awareness of what you're doing differently with your speech in
Yep.
order for you to change it. Okay?
Yeah.
So we do go through a lot of information, but this session is like the highlighting session. So I highlight the different areas of your speech,
Yep.
but in the actual training sessions, that's when we work specifically on each area. So you're not expected to know how to change things after this session, but what's really important is that you have a better awareness of your speech. Okay?
Yep.
So yes, please stop me and ask me if there's something you don't understand.
Sure.
All right, so I'm going to get some information about you now. I know I've got a little bit of information and I've got it written down, but it's good for me to hear you saying it.
Okay.
Can I have your full name, please?
My full name in passport.
Yeah, can you spell it for me?
They used to write down Ngọc Tấn Nguyễn. It's the
NGO.
Ngoctan, and my last name will be Nguyễn is Ngoyen.
NGOYEN?
Yep.
NGOYEN or
No.
NGU?
NGU
You? You.
YEN.
Yeah.
Nguyễn.
Okay. Yeah.
Very common last name for Vietnamese.
Absolutely. So, and your full name, your first name is NGOCTAN.
Yep.
Yeah, but you call yourself JD.
My baptism name in Catholic Church will be Joseph Dominic, so I just imitate, yep, to be JD. Yeah, short
Okay.
name for me.
Okay. Otherwise, Tan. Is that right?
Yeah, Tan. Yep.
Yeah. Do you have a preference? Would you prefer to be called Tan or JD?
It depends because sometimes feel hard to speak in Vietnamese, so both of them is good for me. JD or Tan will be okay. Yep.
Okay, sure. And your address?
It will be 027 Serbo Road.
Sorry, 027 or 207? I think it's 207. Is that right?
Yeah.
207.
207 Serbo Road. Templestowe.
Do you want to know a fun fact? I grew up at 262 Serples Road.
Really?
Yeah, that's where I was from when I was 6 till 18.
Wow.
Yeah, just down the road.
So we can be the neighbor somehow. If I come here a bit earlier.
Yeah, well, that's where I used to live. Now I live far away.
That's
now
good.
I live in Sydney. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so great, 207. And you are from Vietnam?
Yep, I'm from Vietnam.
And can I have your mobile number?
Sure. I still have to remember it.
Yeah, that's okay. Do you want to email it to me then? Maybe you can email it to me.
Okay.
Yeah. Or if you've got it right there, it's great for me to have.
Yep. What I do, I just put in the chat book.
Okay. Good for me to hear how you're saying it though.
You see how I speak the number, right?
Yeah, exactly.
My phone number is 0403 101 739.
Great.
You got it?
Yeah, great. Excellent. So tell me a little bit about yourself. So you're a priest.
Yes,
Yeah, tell me a
I
little bit.
am a Vietnamese priest. I also a Passionist, which is the congregation of the Passion of Jesus Christ, were found in Italy.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yep. And the congregation come to Vietnam 2015.
2015 is when
And
the congregation, and this is the parsonist, did you
yeah,
say?
the Passionist.
Parsonist.
I feel hard to know my
Yeah.
identity sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Passionist.
I'll help you with that. It's a really hard word.
Mm.
Yeah, so you're a parsonist. And can you tell me a little bit about what a parsonist is, compared to a priest?
Mm, the Passionist is a congregation were found in Italy
Okay.
in 1720.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's similar with the another congregation called Redemptorists, or the
Called what? Can you
different
say that
the
again? Called
Redemptorists,
redemption,
Redemptorist,
redemptionist,
Redemptorists.
redemptorist.
Yeah,
Okay. Redemptorist.
Redem, yeah, Redeemer and Redemptorist,
Okay.
redemption. Mm.
Redemption, right? Yeah. Okay.
So the easy way to clarify between the religious and a normal priest is that we call to live together in a community,
Yeah.
and other is the for diocese.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you are they call secular priest or diocesan priest,
Mm-hmm.
they will live in different parishes, or
If
they swap.
you're
Yeah,
a
they
secular
swap
priest.
around after
Uh-huh.
a few years or something like that.
Uh-huh. That's if
For
you're a
us,
secular priest. Yeah.
yeah, for us, we will also swap around, but in the community, so
Uh-huh.
be
Uh-huh.
more stable than that somehow.
You're all together. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing here. So are you working as a priest here or?
Uh, to come back here 3 months ago or 4 months ago on October, I joined the English studying.
Uh-huh.
So it's called EAP. It's mean English for academic purpose.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So to do that, I'm qualified. I was qualified to do my master degree.
Mm-hmm.
So in short, I can say that I'm come here to do a further study.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And in the weekends or in my pastoral working time,
Mm-hmm.
normally I will celebrate a mass,
Uh-huh.
or I give a retreat or recollection or some kind of conference.
Mm-hmm.
So the pronunciation will be very important for me for speech or public speaking. Yep.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about that. So on the weekend, so currently you're studying, what are you studying?
I will study a Master of Theology.
Of theology?
Yeah.
Master of okay, studying a Master of Theology.
Yeah. I
Um,
guess will be a lot of speaking to
yeah,
to
yeah.
do to discuss with the professor and my
Yeah.
classmates. Yeah.
Yeah. Discuss. Um, and on the weekends, you're running mass?
When I in charge, so weekday, maybe normally will be once a week. Once
Hmm.
a week, I will do in the mass. Yeah.
Are you already doing that or will you be doing that soon?
Or I doing that in community,
Yeah.
and because somehow my pronunciation is not very good, and yeah, Brian want me to be out in the public in the best step.
Yeah.
So he
Okay.
tried to get me in the highest quality that I can give to the community. So I
Sure.
didn't, yeah, I'm going to do the mass in public after have some session with you.
Yeah, great. Okay,
Yep.
excellent. And when you say you're going to give it to community, so I apologize, I'm not religious, so I'm learning from you about this.
It's all
So
right.
when you say you're going to give it to the community versus the public, so
Mm.
can you tell me about who is the community? Is this the specific branch of Catholicism,
Or
or is it just your colleagues or?
community, you can say like in private, about 12 of us
Uh-huh.
living together as community. That's
Okay,
what
and
I
that's people.
explained to you.
Is that
But
people from
if I
Vietnam?
go out, will be bigger. About normally will be more than 200,
Mhm.
and most of them is elderly.
Okay, yeah,
So it's even kind
yeah,
of have to be practiced more. So
of course, yeah.
somehow we can put the words on the string,
Yeah.
but when I celebrate a month, I
Mm,
have to
yeah,
speak and talk a lot, and
yeah,
they will have no idea if I give them some kind of information.
yeah, sure.
Yep.
And in terms of the community, the people
Yep.
that you're currently speaking with, are they from all over the world, like Vietnam as well as other places?
Can say so. Mainly we have some Italian,
Mm-hmm.
Australian. We have some Filipinos,
Mm-hmm.
some Malaysian, or some Vietnamese, or yeah, different groups. So mainly we have Italian,
Okay.
but yeah, different people can come and go.
Yeah,
It depends on us if we can give a good result and
yeah,
they understand, they will come back unless they go to
yeah,
another place. Yeah.
yeah. Gotcha. Okay,
Yep.
great. So have you ever worked on your pronunciation before?
Not really. I should doing some kind of application.
Mm-hmm.
So I watch some kind of video or in a speaking skill. My teacher used to comment like some word like is or was.
Yeah.
So she tried to correct me, but it's kind more speaking in general, not really focus on pronunciation. Actually,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Great.
Yep.
Got a bit of reading for you to do now. So don't worry if the sentences don't make sense to you. Just
Yep.
give it a go. No
Yep.
particular word is too important as well. So just try it. And if it's really hard, just move on. Because I'm just
Okay.
big picture. So it's
Yep.
no stress if you can't pronounce or you don't know any words.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm just gonna bring this up.
Yep.
We might not do all the sentences, but let's see how we go. What I'd love you to do at the end of every sentence, just stop just to allow me to make notes if I need to, and then I'll tell you when to continue.
All right.
All right, 1 second, sorry. Oh, there we go. Just do your best. When you're ready.
All right. I'll start with the first one.
Yes, please.
They told him to take and give the receipt.
Yeah, thanks.
Did you bid on the house in Rallo Street?
Mhm.
I said,
Yeah. Good.
yeah.
Yeah, when you're ready.
Please complete the form in blue pen.
Yeah.
I better take a cab to avoid being late.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see he picked them on account of you?
Yep.
It's great. He got those big magnifying glasses.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Surely he's exempt of his impatience last Saturday.
Can you do this one for me again, Tan?
Yep. Ashamed.
Mm-hmm. Great. I'm losing your face a little bit because it's coming under the camera. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
You just put it a little bit more central if possible. That would be great.
Mm.
Thank you. Good. Yep.
Oh, could you please move it up a bit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's good.
Sure.
He looks very casual in his back leisure outfit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which challenge did you choose in the end?
Yep.
Either be overjoyed about the new job description,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
his wife finished lifting the boxes.
And this one again.
Wife,
Uh-huh. Okay. Yep.
I'm very happy you investigate Kevin so carefully.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, he was with her all through the night.
Mm-hmm.
Those baths are the first that my mother ever owned.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen her since the March that's passed.
Mm-hmm.
That zebra has been in the zoo for years.
Yep.
Have you perhaps heard of Harry Potter's new book?
Mm-hmm. There we go. Let's go here.
I'll call you to tell when he's left, if time allows.
Mm-hmm. This one.
We're wondering whether he'll be powerful enough.
Great. This one.
Yesterday, I was baying for younger children who came.
Great. This one.
Get the packets of dried mangoes from the back of the pantry.
Can you do that sentence for me again, please, Sam?
Get the packets of dried mangoes from the back of the pantry.
Mm-hmm. Whoopsie. Go. This one here.
Have you considered the decision we discussed?
Mm-hmm. This one.
Turn right and then reverse into the first driveway you see.
Great. Yeah, great. That's excellent. All right, lovely. Last little exercise I'd love you to do is a
Yeah.
past tense exercise.
Yeah.
And I'd love you just to tell me, look, you can either tell me what you've done today, or you can tell me a little story from, perhaps a story from one of the books you read or from maths or something like that. It's just a past tense exercise. So I just want to hear you recounting things in past tense. So whatever you'd like to tell me. Might be nice to have a story that you might recount at maths. if you can think
Yep.
of something. Just a short one.
This morning I was celebrated the mass.
Mm-hmm.
During the mass, we have about 20s of us,
Mm-hmm.
because it was 12 of us in the community and 8 others from outside of the community to
Mm-hmm.
come and join with us. It was great because we could be together and celebrate
Mm-hmm.
the mass.
Yeah, good.
Mm.
And what did you do? How did you celebrate it? What did you do? What did you do?
I start with the normal entrance, or we call the collect opening prayer.
Did you say entrance and
Entrance.
entrance? Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And during the mass, I gave a homily, and during my homilies, I invited the people to be in unity with the creation,
Yeah. Did
which
you say
we
in
are
my home? Can you say in my homily?
in my homily.
Can you spell that one for me?
HOMILY,
Your home.
homily
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
or sermon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Great. Great. That's all I need. That's excellent.
Mhm.
All right. So you managed to print out the handouts that I sent you?
Yep, I did.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you. All right. So now what I'm going to talk to you about are the different important factors involved in English pronunciation and clear speech.
Yes.
Now, of course, everybody's got an accent. So, you know, the fact is you're from Vietnam, so you've therefore got a Vietnamese accent. Australians, you know, Italian people will have Italian accents, etc. But
Yep.
so how it works is that based on your native accent, that affects how you pronounce English sounds, right?
Okay.
The sounds that you have in Vietnamese are therefore the ones that you are going to try and subconsciously transfer onto English, or not have when it comes to English. Okay? So everything you do is very normal and very consistent with someone from from Vietnam. The thing is with Vietnamese speakers is that it's actually one of the most different sound systems with the most different speech characteristics
Yep.
as compared to English. It's
Sure.
very, very different, you know? So it's something that takes time and takes a bit of effort in order to learn the English sounds and the way of English speaking. All right. So sometimes there are things that might give a person an accent, but that don't impact on their clarity. And I'll talk about these things. Sometimes there are things that, you know, seriously impact on clarity. And of course, we would be prioritizing those most important things.
Yep.
So I'm going to go through the different areas now. Of course, one of the most important things that influences a person's clarity is their speed that they use when they speak. So it's very important to speak at a nice, medium, slow rate in order to be understood. Now, I'm sure also when you're doing your maths in Vietnamese from previous years, you would also know to speak nice and slowly so you're making your point clear with your congregation. So you're doing that nicely. The next thing, of course, is we have to have a good voice in order to be clear. Now, with you, we're going to talk about something called syllable stress a little bit later on, but that's like the rise and fall of a native English speaker's voice. So with you, there's nothing wrong with your voice, but because of your native tongue, your native language, your voice, tends to be flatter, you know, so it tends to be like that. Whereas we're used to recognizing words by the tone that people use when they're saying a word. Okay. And that's got to do with syllable stress as well, which I'll speak about soon.
Yeah.
So what we're going to talk about now, a consonant. Oh, actually, before we go into that, now we're going to talk about the way that native English speakers use their mouth. So we have very different movements to people from many parts of the world, especially Asia. So we have, for example, in English, we have a lot of wider sounds. Yeah. So, for example, we say E as in the word street, right? Street. And you would say, yeah, you would say street, right? Street. And we say street. And we say glasses, and you say glasses, right? Now, this is because we have a lot of wider sounds. Your mouth tends to move more like this, and we tend to use a lot more width in our cheek muscles and our mouth when we're speaking. Yeah. Another thing that we use a lot is our tongue when we're speaking. So some other languages, they might be using more like different tones when they're speaking. We have lots and lots of different tongue movements as well. So again, this can be different to Vietnamese, Japanese, lots of different other languages. Okay. What we're going to talk about now are consonant and vowel sounds. Now, when people are learning English, they tend to learn about consonant and vowel letters. So they know that the letters are like A, E, I, O, U, and the English vowel consonants are the rest. But when we're speaking English, we talk about sounds because we use sounds for talking. So in English, we have what's called consonant sounds and vowel sounds. Just some water. So this is very important. So I'm just opening up a window. Sorry, Tan.
It's all right.
Dramatic pause before we go further. So consonant sounds, we're making contact with what's called our articulators. So articulators are like our tongue, teeth, and lips. So for example,
sorry, I didn't get that word. What did you say about?
It's called our articulators. Our articulators. So a lot of this information, most of this information is in your handout. But you're welcome to write notes, etc. So our tongue, teeth, and lips. So for example, we do this, B, right? Or V. That's making contact with our articulators. Whereas a vowel sound, we've got our mouth open, but we're not making any contact. Okay? So for example, a vowel sound is like E, O, A. In English, we have like 5 English vowel letters, but we have about 20 different English vowel sounds. Now, I'm going to go through the different consonant vowel sounds soon. But first, what I got to show you is in English, we have voiced sounds and voiceless sounds. Okay, so sounds where we use our voice and sounds where we don't, right? So, for example, we've got the sound P, as in pen.
Pen.
But then we've got the sound B, as in Ben, right? Now, this P and this B, I'm doing exactly the same thing with my mouth. The first one, I'm not using any voice. And the second one, B, I am using my voice. Okay? So why this is significant is because sometimes people from Vietnam use their voice when they're not meant to, and vice versa. So what you don't have is you don't have a P, for example. So every time we say a word with a P, you're doing a B. So if the word is like employ, you're saying employ. The word is paper, you're saying vapor. Okay? Yeah. So it's different. Yeah, paper. Because we have words like, let's say PB, you know, pie, by, right? They're different, so it's a different sound. So that's just a little example of how we've got sounds with no voice, and then we've got sounds with voice. Now, the next very important bit about consonant sounds in English is that very often people of international backgrounds don't produce their sounds at the ends of their words. This is very, very much a thing with people from Vietnam. Is very frequently you drop off your final sounds. Now, this impacts on your clarity very significantly. So, for example, you would say something like discuss, right? You might say, you might drop off your, do you know what I'm saying when I say discuss? No?
Yep.
Yeah? You need to say discuss. I need to discuss it with you. And in the assessment, you said discuss. Now, this is because you don't have this final sound, you know, when you're speaking. Or you're saying something like, you know, you said private. We need private. We need to finish off our words. That's super, super important in English. Otherwise, the word can be really unclear. Another example would be, then we have other times when we have two consonant sounds together in a word. That can be very hard for people of an international background. So a good example is in the sentences, for example, when you were reading, and the word is told, so it's got a old, and you were saying told. They told him. We need told. Yeah, we need to include all our sounds. There was another word when you were saying something like, when I asked you to repeat yourself, the word was entrance, right? But you were saying when we have the entrant, right? Now, if you say entrant, it can be very confusing about what you mean. So we need that
entrance.
Exactly. The entrance. Exactly. So this is happening quite frequently. This is very significant for you. Another very important area is in a word like, again, this is also all very consistent with someone from Vietnam. Another example of the importance of including all these sounds in a word like pronounce. We've actually got two there, right? We've got two consonant clusters here.
Pronounce.
Yeah. What you're not doing is this. So you're saying like renounce. Right? Now, if you say renounce, it's a different word altogether as well. So we need that P. Another example, instead of saying dried, there was like a dried fruit or something, or you have
the right.
Yeah, you're missing out on that dra. Yeah, the combination of sounds is quite tricky for you. But when you were saying something about like depends on the chain, like we need some of them swap or some of them chain. We need change, right? So this is very common.
Yeah, so even you repeat my mistake, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Now I understand why you confuse my audience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is really important for you, and including these, all your sounds is going to make a world of difference to your clarity. This is also, like you said something, same thing, in lots and lots of different areas. You said something about 12. There's 12 of us. We need 12. 12 of us. Now, it doesn't mean we may need to make the consonant long. We're not going to say 12 and make it really long, but it needs to be present.
12.
Exactly. Yeah. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at your consonant sounds, your individual consonant sounds. So consonant sounds is a very big area for you in
Yep.
terms of clarity. And if I'm going to pull this up so I can show you specifically which sounds, but you do have a copy of this one as well. All right. So this is called the International Phonetic Alphabet. Have you ever heard of this?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to go through the different sounds here. They're not letters, they're sounds. And I'm going to show you which ones are a little bit harder for you. So yes, you do have quite a few sound substitutions in terms of your consonant sounds. But this is as in pen. Now, sometimes you, and I'm just going to say this for all your consonant sounds, sometimes you leave them out, okay?
Yep.
But also what you usually do instead of a p when you include it is you make it into a b.
Yep.
Right? So you say ben, spin, and tib.
Tib.
Yeah? But this sound here is a p.
P.
So there's no voice. So we say pen.
Pen.
Yeah, beautiful. This is b as in but, that's okay.
But.
Sometimes though, particularly at the ends of your words, you confuse your b with the v. So for example, instead of saying cab, you said cab. Okay? So you're putting a v instead of your b sometimes. Now, can you say this one for me?
Two.
And this one?
Sting.
Yeah. So yours is a little bit more voiced. It doesn't usually affect your, so you're using, like you would say two, and I'd say two.
Two.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Two.
Yeah. Your d as in do, again, sometimes that's good. Sometimes you're leaving it out, and sometimes particularly in consonant clusters. Can you say this one for me?
Cat.
And this one?
Queen.
Yeah, good. So this is a k as in queen.
Queen.
This is g as in go. Now say this one for me.
Back.
Yeah, so this is very hard at the end of a word.
Back.
So this is a g. Beg. 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 We need to use our voice. So you're taking your voice off. Yeah? This is, oh, you know what I didn't say for you? Sorry. This one here, sometimes,
Tip.
instead of saying a p sound at the end, you're also doing a f. So the same thing. Yeah, so you said keep. We need to keep the receipt, but it's keep.
Keep.
So sometimes you're replacing your p with a f, just like you're replacing your b with a v. Okay, that's very common. As in food. I think that one was good. Again for me?
Food.
Yeah. And this one for me?
Voice. Have.
That was okay. This one here?
Think.
Yeah. Yeah, so this one is very hard, and you're often putting this one behind your tongue, behind your mouth for this sound, whereas it needs to be in front of your teeth. Yeah, this one's not as significant for you. This one here, as in C, this is very significant for you, particularly in the final position, and particularly when you've got another sound with it. For example, a word like this, first. You would say like first. Yeah, you need first. First, I'd like to talk to you all about first.
First.
Yeah. Well, firstly.
First.
Firstly. This is very hard. So you're often doing a j, right? So this one here is like this, z, as in zoo, and you're doing Jew, right? That's what you're doing. Yeah. Zoo. Yeah, I'll help you with it. Don't worry. But it's this one here is so it's exactly the same thing as this one, except we're using our voice.
Z, z,
Yeah, zoo.
zoo.
Yeah, that's better.
No, you.
No,
Zoo.
yeah, that's better. Exactly. Zebra. Zebra.
Zebra.
Not quite, but I'll help you.
Yep.
This is sh, as in sheep.
Zebra.
Sometimes you're confusing this sh and this ch, all these ones here. Sh, zh. Sometimes instead of doing a sh, you're doing a ch. And sometimes instead of doing a ch, you're doing a sh. Okay. So an example of that was like, you know, you were saying something about should instead of should. Right? Yeah, so you're using this sound.
Should. You should.
So it's should. Yeah, exactly. Should, because it's an SH. Can you say this one for me?
Sure.
Yeah. So this one, what you do here is you do a ch, ch, ch. You do that sound. Whereas this one here is a j, job.
Job.
Very similar to what you say when you're doing this one here, right? Similar sound. J, job.
Job.
Yeah, or edge.
Edge.
Yeah, or change.
Change.
Exactly.
Change.
As in man. As in no is okay. Again, we need to include the sounds though. Sometimes you're dropping. So if the word is found, you will often say like found. You're leaving that one out. Yeah? Found.
Oh.
Yeah, we found God. We found redemption or whatever it is. Yeah? This is as in sing, swimming. Don't worry about that one. L as in left. This is very significant for you, especially in the final sound. So instead of saying call, or all, often you're saying con. You're doing a instead of a l, particularly at the end of a word. So you might say, I con to you, God, but we need I call. I call. Yeah. Or instead of saying all, you're saying like on of my friends instead of all. Yeah, it's tricky. As in run, okay. What did I do? As in run, occasionally you're doing a l. So you said something like, where was it? Very. You didn't do this very often, but instead of saying very, you said very. Okay. You're occasionally doing that. What as in we? So we're going to definitely highlight that one. What as in we was okay. Yeah, as in yes was okay, and as in home were okay. So as you can see, there's a few consonant sounds, which is not surprising because, as I said to you, Vietnamese is very different from English.
Yep.
Now your vowel sounds basically are sounds where we're just changing our mouth position. Now, actually, what I should tell you as well, Tan, is what you can do is you can click on the square, the rectangle that I'm in, and you can drag the rectangle to make me bigger so you can see me more largely. Can you see how to do that? So you're dragging it out.
Stand up. Okay.
Yeah, you got that? Great.
Beautiful. Get better.
Is that better? Okay. So then we've got some vowel sounds. So vowel sounds, we've got short vowel sounds, long single vowel sounds, and something called diphthongs. A lot of your vowel sounds are good. It's more the consonant sounds, but yes, certainly there are that are a little bit different. I'm really going to pick out one particular one, though, that's probably the most significant in terms of your clarity, and that's the a sound, as in cat or mass.
Yes, mass.
Yeah. So how you pronounce it is like this, mass.
Mass.
That's what you say, yeah?
Yes.
But we say mass, mass.
Mass.
So it's very tricky. It's a different position with the tongue. Don't worry if you can't do it now. You're not expected to.
Yep.
Mass. Can you say this one for me?
Up.
Yeah, and this one?
Current.
Yeah. So this is an up. So we say current, and you make it a little bit more like this. Yeah, you make it more like current, but we say
Current. Up.
current.
Current.
Yeah,
Up.
and it's up there. Up with a p, not a f.
Up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Up.
Yeah. Can you do that? Can you do this one for me?
Hot. Possible.
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 Yeah. That's as in hot and possible. You don't have to worry about these ones. Then we've got long single vowel sounds. So that means that there are certain vowels in English and we have to make them longer. So this one here is as in father or star.
Father.
Yeah. So you're often making this too short because you have short vowels. So you would say our father and we would say our father.
Father.
Exactly.
Father. Father.
Yeah, we say our father as opposed to our father. Yeah. E as in street or read. Again, we need this long rather than saying street. So we say you need to meet. We're going to meet.
Meet.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. As in work, again, longer. Or as in law, all of these, much longer. Ooh, as in soon or cute. Long. Then we've got diphthongs. Diphthongs basically means two short vowel sounds. We put them together and it creates a long sound. So we need to hear both in order for that to be understood. So this is A, as in day or male. Yours tends to sound more like an eh, right? So you'd say like de, and we'd say day.
Day.
Yeah, that's awesome. I, as in line, you tend to say so you would say like it's time, and we'd say it's time.
Time.
Time. Yeah.
Line.
Yeah.
Line.
Line with that final N there, yeah? Line. Line.
Line.
Yeah. Oi as in boy is okay. Oh, this is a really hard sound in English. Oh, as in go. Yours tends to be more. Oh, yeah. Go.
Post.
Ow, as in now again is a bit different. Those would be like now. Now.
Now.
Good.
Count.
Count. Don't forget your N.
Count.
Yeah.
Count.
Yeah, so you can see how commonly you're leaving out your N. Did I put your N there? It needs to be.
Count.
Yeah. Ear as in near and as in to are fine. So I'll save this. So you've got all your sounds that you know are a little bit trickier. Let's do that right now. Okay, just so I don't lose it. Right, so you can see there's a few different consonant sounds and vowel sounds that we'd be working on in order to help you with your clarity. Now, there's also something else that's significant for you, and that's called syllable stress. So that's making sure that every single word in the English language, when it's got more than one syllable, has one syllable that has more emphasis than the others. And that makes our listener recognize the word that we mean. So, for example, if you're saying something like redemption, right? We're never going to say redemption. We're going to say redemption, right? Redemption. So, save us for redemption. Help us with redemption rather than redemption. Redemption, right? So this is the rhythm of Vietnamese versus English. With English, when we have a word with more than one syllable, we always have one syllable that has more emphasis than the others. So I'm really ranging my pitch and going higher at certain times. Also, when I'm speaking English, I don't emphasize all the words I'm using when I'm speaking. I emphasize important words, and that helps my listener recognize the main words. So if you're saying something like, again, if you're saying our God, I come to you, the community. You know, you're not going to say, I come to you, emphasizing every word. It'll be like, I come to you, the community, you know, so I'm not emphasizing those little words like that and I, and I'm emphasizing the important words. That makes our listener, especially, you know, if they're elderly people, really grasp the main meaning of what you're trying to say. Okay. So the other things there, like intonation, it's not as important. Linking, it might be a little bit more important, but later, but these things are more important. Linking can be important. Certainly that's connecting our words to each other. The other thing that's really important in terms of grammar, so I'm not an English language teacher, so I can't quote the complex grammar rules. That's a different specialization, but I certainly will pick you up and correct you when you're making mistakes. And of course, because English is not your first language, you're making inconsistent mistakes. Sometimes your grammar is excellent, sometimes you're making mistakes, and that's just very normal. So what we would do, what's very important for you though, is improving your past tense, because sometimes when you're speaking, you're just speaking more in the present tense. And also what's impacting on you is that you're not entirely sure what to do when we've got past tense, regular past tense. So for example, the word was investigated. So we've got this ted at the end. So what you were saying, he investigate, but we need investigated, right? We need that. Or we've got final sounds, consonant clusters. So for example, if the word was joined, you said something about joined, but you just said join. Join. We need to say he joined our group. Joined. Again? Joined. There's no duh. We need a duh though, yeah? Joined. Yeah, because that duh is indicating it happened in the past. Okay? Yeah. So this is a very important area for you as well. So in summary, the things that I'll be working on with you are lots of consonant sounds, right? Helping you know what to do for the different sounds, so you can feel confident knowing what sound to do when you see what letter. Of course, there's lots of exceptions. We can't always tell when we're looking at a word, but there are certainly big patterns, okay? So teaching you those sounds, teaching you to very much include your sounds at the ends of your words. That's very, very important for you. And when the sounds are together, okay? So that's with your consonant sounds. And then your vowel sounds as well, helping you identify when a vowel sound might be short or when it might be long, and how we create these sounds. Then we certainly be working on syllable stress as well, and that's the rhythm of your speech. So that's going to help you also go up and down with your voice and know where to emphasize in your words. Okay. Now, the most important thing in terms of changing your speech, do you know what it is? What do you think? Changing the way I speak. What would be the most important thing that might affect change, do you think? Any idea? I think it's good for the listener. That they can be understand better. Yeah. But sorry, what I mean is the most important thing in order to help you change your speech is practice. Practice. So you won't change much if you don't do practice, because the way that you speak English is based on your whole life of speaking Vietnamese, right? So we have to retrain your brain how to relay the messages to your speech muscles and make that subconscious. At first, it's going to be conscious. At first, you're going to be trying and you're going to be very aware of what you're doing. But then the more you practice, the more you repeat, the more you do it, it becomes subconscious, like any new skill, right? So we want it to get to that subconscious level so that you don't have to think about it. But at first, you're going to have to think about it. And then you become more aware of your speech and, more conscious of your speech, which is 100% necessary in order to change your speech.
Yep.
So I recommend practicing at least 20 minutes a day. I think that's really important.
Yep.
And trying to set aside a specific time to practice your speech, right? So if it's every afternoon at 5 o'clock or whatever it is, whatever suits you, okay?
Yep.
You can practice more, of course, that's great. The idea is also to be practicing outside of work and work, of course, but if you're practicing outside of work and you're getting this new pattern, then that's going to help transfer it into work more easily. Rather than thinking, oh, I've got a mass now I'm going to think about my speech, right? You need to be thinking about your speech the whole time or as often as you can, so then it becomes very instinctive for you. Okay, so this is really, really important. We need to train the brain to speak in a different way for a different language, okay? So super important. So in that sheet that I sent you, there's something called, like at the end of what I was just talking about, there's some tips that are very important in terms of how to practice. So, you know, for example, when we're practicing our speech, you don't want to just practice at the word level. You don't want to just go like this, mass, mass, mass. Because the minute you put it into a sentence, it becomes 100 times harder. So you want to be doing like this, the word and then the sentence. So for example, mass, I'm leading mass. I'm going to mass. Mass is fun. Mass is, you know, whatever it is, right? Just practicing, practicing. Another thing that's really good is to be recording yourself, okay? So recording yourself speaking is a really important factor as well. That helps change because you need to hear yourself. Now, I just actually thought of one sound that I didn't mention here, and that was the sound, sometimes sounding like a shh, right? This is a significant one. Maybe write that one in. So instead of saying like Saturday, it sounded like Shatterday, Shatterday, right? That's it's an important sound, this sound, but we'll be going through them all. So what we do in the lessons is we work on different sounds every lesson, okay? And then I provide you with different homework material as well as audio tracks as well that correlate with it. But it's really important that you do both what I call the formal homework, which is what I provide you, but then also natural practice as well. So that's speaking to your colleagues, speaking to Brian and focusing on your speech, speaking to whoever you can and practicing your speech.
All right.
Do you have many English speaking friends in the community?
Right now we have some.
Okay, yeah.
Is there somebody Vietnamese? We try to do English, but we normally we refer Vietnamese.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But I think what would be really good, if it's appropriate, is to try and set up, if it's appropriate, a regular time, let's say, to meet with Brian, to practice just chatting to him and spending as much time, not even thinking about what you're talking about, but really focusing on your pronunciation. Okay?
I have an Australian friends who I try to talk every day.
Okay, great. Do you think that Australian friend would be a good, would they be a good listening person?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So trying to really like have time when you can really practice your speech with somebody patient that's going to listen to you and that you can just focus speaking and working on the things that I'm talking and some days you won't have somebody to do it with, so you might just do it yourself, speaking to yourself. So you might record your sermon that's coming up, and then you might listen back to it, and you can write it down, and then you read it. As you look at it, you go, okay, hold on, that said prefer. Did I say prefer or did I say refer? I think I might have said refer. Oh, I need to say prefer. I need to include all my sounds, right? So you become a lot more aware of your speech as
Yeah.
time goes on. And then, of course, what we want you to be able to do is correct yourself.
Sure.
Okay.
Mm.
So, you know, in terms of how many sessions you would need, you know, normally there's like a 6, 9, or 12 session package. It's going to be up to you and Brian ultimately, and probably maybe Brian, but certainly for people, for Vietnamese speakers, 6 sessions is far too small.
Mm-hmm.
9 to 12 sessions. 12 sessions in an ideal world would be really good for you if that's possible, because then we'll be able to cover everything and really consolidate and work on everything as well. And what I would love you to do, and I'll send you a follow-up email with this, is to send me a list of, let's say, I don't know, 50 to 100 words or phrases that are really important for you. So
Okay.
one great example would be parsonist. You know,
Yeah.
that's really hard because we've got this nest,
Through
right?
Christ our Lord.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful, exactly.
I
Christ.
start to collect some of my, words or phrases from the readings and
Yeah,
my
beautiful.
masses. Yeah,
Yeah.
which
And
is repeatedly.
yeah, excellent. And I mean, do you have a sermon or something that you say regularly at Mass?
Normally, I just do it freely, but I start to
Okay.
conscious to do it,
Yeah,
write down and start to practice.
exactly. Yeah.
That
Write down what you normally say, even if it's not exactly what you say.
sure.
And then send me that information. That's really helpful for me to have, because the
Yeah.
more you send to me, the more I can refer back to it so that we can be applying everything that we're working on, making it as relevant to you as possible. So
Yeah.
any sermons that you say regularly or not even regularly, a list of words and phrases, God, priest, love, you know, whatever it is, redemption, redemptorist, you know, all those things are really, really helpful. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions at all?
Based on the practicing that you may say like practice make perfect.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it sounds like I have to do by myself
So
from this time to the next session.
yeah,
So
what I'd love you to do until the next session. So this is the assessment session
yeah.
and the feedback session. This is not a training session. So you don't have to do anything other than what I'd love you to do is watch the video, watch this video again. Okay, you're gonna have this video.
Yep.
I'm gonna send you another link with the video of me just going sound after sound after sound. Okay, you can try and repeat it if you like, but don't even worry about that. It's just to watch it and just to listen. There's very important different practices, and one of the main things is listening practice and speaking practice. My main thing that I want you to do until the next session, because we haven't started training, is do lots of listening practice. Okay. Watch the video, listen, practice, and write down those words. That would be really great. If you can start to be more conscious of finishing off your words, that would be great. You know, you can already start to do that by like reading aloud. Okay. That would be excellent. But apart from that, I don't want you to try, because sometimes, you know, people start working on something and then they might not be right because I haven't taught them, and then they're just wasting their time. No. So wait for me to teach you. I'll help you. I'll teach you. I'll guide you. I'll correct you if you're not right, etc. But starting to be more conscious of final sounds, there's no harm in doing that. Okay. And starting to think about your speech versus other people's speech, starting to listen to sermons of native English speakers and starting to think, oh, okay, what are they doing? Now, in terms of final sounds, sometimes you might not hear the sound as clearly as what I'm telling you to do. And that's because sometimes people are linking sounds to other sounds, or they're doing something very advanced called a glottal stop, which is very difficult to understand. It's like half doing that sound. I don't want you to worry about that, but I just want you to understand that's why you might not hear it as clearly. But what you need to do is you need to produce it fully and clearly, because the other thing that sometimes native English speakers do is like an instinctive thing that's very complex, you
Ah,
know,
yeah.
because we know the natural boundaries of how of certain sounds that we might put, might not necessarily pop, but that we kind of have to. Whereas there's no way of you knowing that. So you might try and do that, but then you're doing it in all different sounds,
Okay.
So it's much more clear and much safer for you to always be finishing off your words.
Yep.
Okay. It's very, very important. As I said to you, if you say discuss, we don't know what that means. We need discuss.
Discuss.
Exactly. Okay. So I think this is going to be super helpful for you. I think that it's going to make a big difference to your speech. As I said to you, watch this video and I'll send you a follow-up email as well with a few things to do, but you don't need to go out and you don't need to know what to do in order to change your speech. That comes down to the training session.
All right.
Okay, so don't worry, just lots of listening. And if you're listening, as I said, to a sermon by someone and you hear something that you go, oh, I'm saying that very differently, write down that word.
Okay.
Have a think. Maybe you know why it's different. Maybe you have no idea. It doesn't matter.
All right.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Lovely to meet you. Oh, we need to make another appointment.
Yeah.
What are your hours like, Tan?
I will start my master in 24.
On the 24th?
Yeah, but most of the time will be on the evening time from 6 to 9. So daytime will be no problem with me so far.
Okay, good, great. So then let's have a look. Let's see if we can do. Let's just try and do 2 o'clock next Tuesday. Does that work for you?
Next Tuesday. Yep.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, let's do that.
Will be 14, right?
Yeah.
2 p.m.
Great. Have a beautiful week, and I'll see you then. And it's the same. It's the same Zoom link every session. Okay, great. Yep. Thanks, Tan. I'll see you then.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.